Hi guys, and welcome to OP Digital Blueprint. We have a special guest with us today. We've got Nashville Milo. Say hi, Milo.
Hey, how you guys doing? Good to be on with these two rock stars.
Rock stars, excellent. And Colin, say hello.
Hello, nice to be here with Milo. It's always great, to be Milo and my brother Andy on a show like this. And today is what, Tuesday. So we are really grateful and blessed to be here.
Now, obviously, we're all waiting for the next thing from our esteemed CEO. But I before we get there, I really want to understand your version, Milo, of where you think we are, and what you see has happened so far, and this will give us a good kind of grounding as to what's going next, if you like. So fill your boots, my friend.
Hey, thank you, Andy and Colin, and it's great to be on the show with you guys today. It's an honor to be here. And on passive, where are we as on passivians? And I know sometimes it might be easy to get down, but I'm telling you, the picture is so bright at the end of the tunnel for on passive. Yeah, maybe hey, we're pushed back a little bit or whatever, or waiting for things to fall in. But when they do fall in, I'm going to tell you, this is going to be something like none other. And I was telling you earlier, Andy, about I nap a lot. And I like to nap because it seems like when I nap, I come up with all these ideas that I didn't think about before that on passive could do. We are in a situation that, not only are we going to be blessed, but we're going to be able to bless others. And when we used to have the Julian Milo show, if you remember that show from way back when, at the end, I would always come up and say, hey, this is going to be so good. Start thinking about who you can bless, what's going to happen. And, all of this is coming to fruition, even though we might not see it right now. What's happening behind the scenes is big. I mean, it is huge what's happening behind the scenes. And once that comes about, we're all going to forget about all this time. We won't forget about it. I mean, we know the journey, and I'm telling you, there is going to be something to the journey when you can say, I was there when this was happening, and I went through, and now it has come to where it is, which, in my mind, there's no doubt that this is going to happen, that it is happening. It is just a matter of coming forth. It's a matter of, happening. And once that happens, man, I feel like all of us are going to be so blessed that we will be able to change the world. If we think about it, we're only one person, but we're one person in a movement that is right now 2-3 million people or whatever. We're one person. If we can make one change, you realize how many changes are going to be made, and we will be able to make change. I love sitting around and thinking about okay, what am I passionate about? What do I want to help with? How can I change my life, but change someone else's life? Because the truth of it is, if you change something in your life and you're passionate about it and you help someone else out, that is going to grow and grow and grow. And there's nothing like giving, apples or money or whatever doesn't mean a thing, if you don't have something in your mind. What are you going to do with it? How are you going to bless someone? How's it going to help you? All of that stuff is important. And I know that it's, like I said, it's not that it's not happening, because it's happening right now. We just have to be a little bit more patient, wait for it to get to us, and we will change the world.
I
Back
mean,
to you, Andy.
what? Sure. What is interesting is, and what a lot of people don't understand is, there is so much going on in the background that we don't know. Now, we do know that there are a number of founders that have caused problems for the company over the last year or so, and so our CEO and COO are reluctant, quite rightly so, to hand out information as to, you know, this is it, this is what we're doing, because it's misconstrued oftentimes and taken in the wrong context and what have you. So I am really excited by the fact that everything's gone quiet. Now, I know that sounds strange, people, but hold on a second. If you look at this and think about this, we know, as Milo's quite rightly pointed out, that there are things going to come very shortly. And we've had this issue with the merchant, which has created a problem with money coming in and money going out. And you know, one of the merchants may well still owe us money or on passive money. So what is exciting is the fact that once this problem has been resolved, then the floodgates open. So what's your take on this, Collins?
Yeah, so yeah, Andy, rightly so. Milo, thank you for the really big intro. You know, sometimes when we look at it, silence for a company doesn't mean they are not doing anything, because there is always internal process and there is just so much information they can divulge for the founders. Let us remember that though we are founding affiliate, but the company still reserve the right to keep certain information in, because this is a corporate body. It's a corporate body and they are working within a framework where things should be kept internally. Yes, our CEO is so kind, and we are blessed to have someone like Mr. Ash Mufara, who can come out and say, you know what, ABC, this is what you need to know, and sometimes give us a lot of information, more than what we even needed. That's how I always say, because there are things that must be reserved for the corporate, but sometimes he goes more to give us more, because, you know, sometimes we say, okay, that's transparency, yes, but at times transparency hurt the company, because there are people who cannot keep it, and they go twist it around, make it to favor them, and sometimes they twist things that the CEO didn't say. So I don't even blame the company not to even tell us anything, because what we know now, Andy, those who are plugged in sincerely, even if you know 0.5% of 100%, you are good to run a business in ONPASSIVE. What else do you need to know? Understand your OES, understand how the business model is, understand what ONPASSIVE concept is, why Mr. Ashmufara built the company to bless mankind, as Milo said. Why would he say, I want to give you time and financial freedom? I want to give you time and financial freedom. I mean, finance means you are free. Time means you have time to do something. What will you be doing, using your time for? It's about going around blessing people. And if he is not right or true to his word, he will say, I just want to give you some residual income so that you can subsidize, add on to what you are earning to keep on going with your normal life. And there is no need to bless others. But he said, I want to give you time and financial freedom. That is a big statement for any company to do, to say. No company on spending have said, I want to give you time and financial freedom. You have to fight for your own time and financial freedom. No company will tell you that. No CEO will come out and said, you know what, I'm giving you even job for life, because job is not even guaranteed. You know, so there is no job that's guaranteed, but a CEO come out and said, you will get time and financial freedom. It means there is something that he wants to do. And when you look at the ONPASSIVE business model, you know that there's really big time and financial freedom, which Mr. Ash Mufara want to unleash. Yes, there'll be little things that's happening, like Andy said, you know, merchant and all of those things. There's a lot. But what is time? And when we said we have waited, how long have we waited for? It's just not 5 years, it's nothing. Yes, it's a lot, but it's nothing. We are prepared to stay 40 years on our own job, retired and died with nothing. But we are unwilling to stay even half a decade, just 10 years for something that would change our lives. So if they ask me today and said, you have X amount of years to work until you retire, and I will make sure, I will give you this, wait for 10 years, just continue to do what you are doing, your job, and then stay in. And after 10 years, your life, you finish. it means I will retire more than even my retirement age. So it means I have the rest of my life before my retirement age to enjoy myself. Will I say yes or no? I will dive in and wait. So, and this is the thing, sometimes we look at it. You are able to stay for 40 years for a job, continuous working and working and working, but you are not ready to say, all right, let me wait for 1 day, because 1 day is too much, or 1 year is too much. When is it coming? You know, let us be patient.
Now,
That's the only thing I'll say.
yeah, absolutely, Collins. Now, what you've got to bear in mind, Collins, is Milo and I are considerably older than you are. So
that's true.
No, Andy, it is right. Andy, that is true. But you are looking at it, Andy, in this way. We are all building lasting legacy.
Oh, absolutely,
for generations to come. So it's not only about us, but about the generation to come. And that's what you are doing. And that's the same thing Milo is doing. That if I have 5 years to enjoy again, let me enjoy and leave the legacy for the rest of my generation, not to suffer. Look at, we are talking about the likes of the Apple guy. If you don't Apple, where is it today? Walmart died and leave it. But now the generation now, they are just swimming because they don't even know what is poverty. They don't even know what their even great-granddad suffered to do all of this. They don't even know. If you tell them, do you know that people sleep on the street or sleep a day without a meal? They'll tell you no, because they've never tasted it.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, Collins, in my head, I'm still 28, and my body may tell me different, but I'm sure Milo's the same. But Milo, I want to get your opinion on where we're going. Collins has mentioned, look, we're going to be able to bless others, and this is the part of why we joined. Well, no, I'll rephrase. We all joined this originally for the money. There is no doubt about that. We all did that. But along the way, we have seen what's coming. We have been given a glimpse of the opportunity that presents itself to us. And now all of a sudden you go, hold on a second. Not only am I going to be able to fill my tank, but now I'm going to be able to do things for others as well. So what is your opinion? What are you hoping to achieve moving forward?
Oh, man.
And by the way, you look about 35. So
I wish I felt that. But what is amazing is you said it right. When I first come in it, to be honest with you, I didn't believe it. I didn't understand how that they could do that. You know, I'm not one of those that saw it and boom, I jumped in and I did it. No, I didn't. I did it for the fear of missing out. I had this little guy on my shoulder saying, but what if it is true? What if it is true? I can tell you at this point, I probably believe more than anybody that this is true. And what's going to happen? Ash has provided us with a vehicle that will work for everybody. I don't care who you are or what you do, what you're passionate about. Your vehicle will go where you need to go. My vehicle will go where I need to go. Can I help someone, show them the way and help them hopefully go where? I hope so. I hope I can bless someone that when it's all over and said and done and I get out of here, that people say, man, that guy was cool. He had a heart. He blessed people. I hope that's what it is. But let's go back to when I first come in. I come in because I was looking for something. I needed something a little extra maybe, you know, and so I come in for that. But along the way, my mind changed. And I can tell you it wasn't in the first 2 months, but probably 6 months in, I was listening to Ash and I'm like, wait a minute. Something's not right. Something's different about this guy. And I'll never forget, it all changed for me in November of 2019 when I took a trip to Orlando. Only reason I was going to, because these people were bugging me about getting a new hotel thing or whatever and wanted me to set through a thing. And I said, well, I'm not going to buy anything. They said, that's okay. I said, well, if you're going to pay me that money just to come sit down there, I'm all in. So I went and flew down there. And then I realized, hey, that guy that I was talking to, he's down here someplace. I phoned my upline, and I said, is it possible I could get his number? Now, I know you could never do that nowadays, but she said, let me check. And so she did. And I met with him. I waited 2 nights, and it was no big deal, right? I'm just down there. But when he come in, once I met Ash, it was all over, because I'm telling you, he walked through the door. He had a smile on his face that was bigger than Texas. And he walked up to me, and we had never met other than we had sent pictures, texting. And he walked in. I stood up to shake his hand. He did not shake my hand. He threw his arms around me and he says, brother, he said, I'm so glad to meet you. And then he sat down with tears in his eyes and he told me about what's going on, how people are right now. There's people out there that could give $1 million to everyone in the world and still never be able to spend their money. But he looked at me with almost tears in his eyes and he says, and what are we doing? We're sitting here. There's people starving. He said, my God, he said, there's veterans that have taken care of us, that have given us freedom, that are sitting out there. They can't get a place to eat. They can't get a bite to eat. They can't. He said, something's wrong. And man, he got to my heart that day. I'm going to tell you that right now. I went home and I've never been the same since, because that affected me so much and I remember him saying, at the time, 2019, he said, he says, I might not be able to change the world, but he said, I can change somebody's world. And that hit me, because he was doing something that he wanted me to join in. And it was something that just pulled at my heart. So I said, I thought about it, and I don't know, it was probably 2022 maybe, or 2021. No, it's probably 2022. He was on a webinar, and you guys will probably remember this. He was on a webinar and he says, I want you to dream. And he gave a few seconds. He said, no. He said, dream bigger. And then he says, I don't care how big your dream is. This is 1,000,000 times bigger. That is big. That's huge. And when I realized what he was saying, and then he talked about how he was wanting to change the world, how he was wanting to change homelessness and this and that. And he says that his plan was to give away $1,000,000 a day. And, and I'm like, $1,000,000 a day. That's crazy, And then he made a statement. He said, do any of you want to join me? I remember raising my hand and saying, me, because I want to do that. I want to do that too. And I know that I'm not the only one. There's millions of us out there that want to do it. So now you go from one man trying to change the world to you go to right now, what, 2 million people, all with that same mindset that, hey, we want to help. We want to change the world. Is it that we don't know? Yes, we're going to have time and financial freedom. That's a given. We don't have to worry about that, because the cool thing about it is, and when you realize the concept of this, is that the more you give out and the more you're involved in the community and passions. And I'm not saying you have to get out and you have to do this. I'm passionate about cancer. People who have cancer, very passionate about it. Am I going to help them? I absolutely am going to help it. Will I allow anyone else to help too that wants to jump into that project? Absolutely. And guess what? Even if you're not that passionate about it, you're going to get blessed, because you bless the people that's in it. And, so these projects, so I've been talking with people and, and saying, hey, we could do this or we could do that. Hey, we set up a project and everyone join together, collaborate. It's a wonderful thing when you understand how it works and stuff. I'm blown away. Like I said, I wake up straight out of naps and think, wait a minute, I could do this. And then I realize, yeah, it's there for me, So
I think this is phenomenal, because, many of us, and I'm one, okay, I kind of jumped in, but the one thing that actually got me hooked was listening to our CEO and his passion for life. And over time for all of us, this has morphed. And I'm like you. Yeah, I'd love to be able to give away $1 million, a day. That would be phenomenal. Just think, if we had the capability to be able to do that, what we could do for humanity, but also, as Asha said, you've filled your tank. You've done what you need to do for you and your family, and everything else is bunts. It's excess, and you make use of the excess. Now, if you then take that, and I'm passionate about the veterans as well in the UK, because a lot of these guys leave the forces, they have PTSD, but they find it's hard to get work, but they've lost their digs, they've lost their home, because you got that when you were in the forces. So now all of a sudden they're on the street. You go, hold on a minute. These guys have created freedom for us, and now they're given nothing, whereas we've got all of these other people coming in and taking advantage of the system, because that's the way the government want to play. So what if we were in a position to be able to help these guys and do the right thing? But then you expand this out, and like you say, we've got this 2 million of us. What if we were all in a position to pay 100,000 a day, just 100,000 a day? Wow. You've got so many projects or so many things that we could change lives with.
Absolutely, Andy. If you have the 100,000, what I tell people is, what about buying that vet? In fact, I have a project that's called Thank a Vet. So Thank a Vet. What if you buy that person a project underneath Thank a Vet? Now, we do away with all the MLM and stuff, and it's just a project, right? So it blesses everything, every vet that's out there that comes in, because it's all going to flow up. Imagine you putting 100,000 in, I'm putting 100,000 in, other people. It's not long before we can change the world. This is what's remarkable about this. And when you see how it works, or at least the way I think it's going to work, all of a sudden you're not worried about you. It's all about just helping other people that have passions, that are trying to do something in the world. And imagine when you come on and you join that, well, you bless everyone in there that needs to get blessed. But not only is that happening, but it's coming back to you probably 10 times what you just put in, So
Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, so as far as, the $1 million a day, I think it's possible for anyone to do it. All you got to do is, once we figure out what it's going to happen, I think this is going to do things that we have no idea that it's going to do.
Absolutely, totally agreed. Wouldn't it be wonderful if there were 1 billion of us within ONPASSIVE, and we're all donating £1 or $1, to good causes, to do the things that need to be done in this world, that maybe have been taken away from us, or taken away from where they should be. So Collins, tell us what you think.
Yes, Andy, it's just really a good thought. While Milo was talking, I was just like listening, then try to spin my head around, which is really great, because the idea about ONPASSIVE, the whole big concept of ONPASSIVE is about blessing. Normally when I join ONPASSIVE, if I look at it, I was just all about myself, money, and then just introduce those who can come in and also make the same amount of money, and then just do whatever they want to do, enjoy themselves, and that is it. But when we listen to Ash, like I listen to Ash, the first, Ash really has spoken a lot of things, even the word that came out from Ash's mouth. And the one thing that captivated me was, I wanted to live this world in a better way and I came into it. So he is not even thinking about himself. And then there was a time he said, You cannot take anything from me, and I cannot take anything from you. Come into ONPASSIVE, all of us will grow like this. Mr. Ash will be growing, and you are growing. And I was like, hang on, you own the company. So how can we all both grow the same time? I cannot take from you, and you cannot take from me. Now it takes me back to the business model. And when I understand this, there was like a light bulb. I said, okay, now I've got it. I know why Ms. Ashfra is saying, talking about financial freedom. If only you come into ONPASSIVE and the time freedom. You know, when you look at the business model of ONPASSIVE, it's talking about the 5 pillars, you know, which I will not go over. We've talked about it a lot. But when you look at it, he said he wanted to create a business. Say, okay, he is Mr. Ashmofara, and he wants to create a business for himself. Now, looking at the way the ONPASSIVE structure is and the business model of ONPASSIVE is, now you've created ONPASSIVE. How do I replicate ONPASSIVE to go out to as many people who come into ONPASSIVE? It's not like you are coming and then the company has just one structure and then give you a piecemeal. I want to create the same business. Say, all right, you have Walmart. Say where Milo is living, there is Walmart supermarket there. Milo owns the Walmart supermarket. He is the creator and the originator of Walmart supermarket. Then he sat down and said, what does it take for me to create this same supermarket in another part of America and then give it to somebody else and say, I bless you with that? That is just what Mr. Ashmore have done. You know, and then he said, all right, anybody who contact me, I will create it in your own town and give it to you. That is, it belongs to you. You don't need to call it Walmart. Just call it whatever you want to call it. Put it your name. But it is the same supermarket, but it is your name. So that is what Mr. Ashmore have done, the business model about replicating the business. When he said the world will know your name, it's about replicating business, and the business is owned by you. Your name is written. Your domain name is your business. Now, he looked at the concept. He said the concept is about doing what? Because you have the business model and the concept of ONPASSIVE. Concept is about doing less, paying less, ending more. And the ending more comes from the business model of ONPASSIVE. So when you have that business model, it gives you the ability to do what? To help humanity. If you put those two together, your head will explode. Because through the business model comes the concept, and the concept, you have the ability to bless mankind, because the concept will give you more so you can bless mankind. So Mr. Ash said, you will grow with ONPASSIVE. It is you owning a business. Own it. We will own it and we will replicate it. And everybody who comes in will be successful. You know, he said, I cannot guarantee, but I'm telling you, if you come in, over time, you'll be successful because you own something in ONPASSIVE, which your name is written on. And this is the things that when I look, I say, wow, then it means that if 1 million or 10 million, as many as possible, people who can come into ONPASSIVE, you know, with good heart, and they say, yes, I own a business and I want to bless. How much do you think it takes to change somebody's life? Nothing. Because you have it in you. You can change the world in your own little way. So Mr. Ashmofara is not only replicating himself, he is replicating. We are the replica, because when I look at it, he said, where my hands cannot reach, I want your hands to reach. He cannot be everywhere. Where my eyes cannot see, you will be my eyes. Where my legs cannot go, you will be my legs. You will bless people because ONPASSIVE have done something that is great in us and have transformed us to be, you know, to be a blessing to others. And that is all about ONPASSIVE. Because you will have it to bless. You will fill your tongue and then you will start to bless others, because you cannot eat everything on your own. And that's what I wanted to say, Andy. I'll leave it there.
Honestly, Collins, listen, today's discussion is phenomenal, because we all see the same thing. We all see this opportunity that's presented itself, not just to be able to sort us out, because many people want to help, they don't have the financial capability to be able to do that for whatever reason. Now, whether this becomes an excuse or not is difficult to say. But bottom line is, when you have capital to play with, there is no excuse. So the vast majority of us that are, you do what we can with the limited funds that we do have available. Great. When you've got them, all hell breaks loose. So, Milo, tell us a little bit more. I know the veterans are big in your heart, and you want to help these people. For me, as I said, what I'd love to do is to be able to bring a lot of this technology forward by encouraging inventors to move forward with their inventions and help humanity that way, because that lifts every one of us. But what are the specific things that you see happening in the future? You're muted, buddy. You might have to refresh, I'm afraid, Milo. We can't hear you, which is a bit of a shame. You and me, Collins.
Yeah, Milo will be back.
Milo will be back. Yeah. I don't know about you. I couldn't hear him, unfortunately. But yeah, as we've said, I love the excitement and the possibilities of what's coming, because when you have a unicorn company behind an inventor that is then enabled to be able to bring his technology forward, because there's no fear. Where a lot of inventors, we've seen this guy in Zimbabwe, for instance, that's created a car that runs on ambient energy, and a helicopter that continues to fly no matter what. So, but he's had 4 assassination attempts. Now that is just appalling. We've got something here that it's good for everybody. We don't need oil and gas. We have the capability to provide it from other things, and for me, as I said, bringing inventors forward would be the ideal scenario. But for you, what's it for you then, Milo? What are your thoughts?
All right, can you hear me now?
Oh yes, we can.
All right, all right. What's in it for me? Where am I going with it? Like I said, the time and financial freedoms is incredible. Now you put what you're saying, the vehicle in front of, that you can go any place you want. And I just heard the end of your thing, and I love what you said about, inventors and stuff like that. And we are being held back by so much of, whatever you want to call it. The people with the money, they buy so that they make the rules so that it just fits them and stuff. All of that's about going to change, I believe, with a lot of the things coming out now. Is people, is sick and tired of it, and so there is going to be a change. And on passive, it's just going to be right there at the right time. That's what I feel, that it's going to be right there. But not only, as I think back, where do I want to go with it? Well, I've got a lot of passions. I have 3 passions that are very passionate to me. Cancer is one. Number 2 is churches. I feel that if I could bless churches, and I'm not a real religious type guy with the organized religion, but I do know this, that churches have a way of reaching out to the community. They have a way of helping anyone, and people go to them when they need. So if we can bless churches, I think that would be great. Imagine if you're also get into the fact that you're blessing missions. You can change a whole world very quickly over there, realizing that someone, say your missionary is over someplace where they're only making $20 a month, and all of a sudden ONPASSIVE comes over there. Do you think they will be able to give to their other people, their friends, their family? Absolutely. It's going to go viral, I believe. And so when the internet changes, where the internet is every place, I think that's going to be a huge thing for us. We don't realize how much that is. 40% of the world right now doesn't get internet. What happens when that 40% of the world gets internet? What if you were the one to bring a thing to them called cancer, and they looked at it and said, man, I like this, I'm going to bless someone else, and they get it. It's just people start filling up that thing, and it's kind of like I used to talk about, you know, the oranges. How many orange can an orange create? Well, it can create a whole bunch because you create orchards with it, and that's what's going to happen with ONPASSIVE. But another cool thing that I really like about it is it allows us a chance to make a difference in the world and to write our own legacy. You know, we don't have to go out with a, well, yeah, he was Milo or whatever, but you can go out with a, hey, Milo helped people. He was someone there, you know, and I can't think of anything greater than to be, you know, when it's my time to go, to know that I did something for someone. I helped someone. And so the project we were talking about, Thank a Vet. Now that was brought to me by a guy named Wayne Dockery. Now imagine me and Wayne have sat down, we talked, and I said, Wayne, what do we want to do? Well, we want to bless vets, you know. Okay, so how are we going to do it? So we started thinking back and forth. Can you imagine driving down the road from one AMVET to another, or from one American Legion to another, and going in there and just blessing people? Why? Because you can. That's a great,
yeah, absolutely.
That's the greatest thrill I can think of in my life, you know, that I could just walk in a place and bless people. You know, it's cool. So I mean, that's what ONPASSIVE is to me. ONPASSIVE is heart with me. When they say ONPASSIVE with a heart, that's what it is. I mean, it's allowing this thing right here to go out into the community and bless the community.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, final comments from you, Collins, before I nearly said comfort. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'll slap my wrist. Collins,
Yeah.
final words from you, and I'll go back to Milo before we end. So.
So honestly, ONPASSIVE is built upon the heart of blessing, because when we look at O Bless, I always call it the king or the queen of ONPASSIVE. Because as said, take the humanitarian part of ONPASSIVE, he will be less motivated. So like ONPASSIVE will become a more traditional business where one man gets rich and the rest suffer. And he doesn't want that. The only joy Mr. Ashbofara, you know, has in his heart is about blessing humanity. And that is where he said, he made the statement about ending more, so you will have the ability to do good. And since he started with that point, when I joined ONPASSIVE, Mr. Ashbofara have never changed. The idea behind ONPASSIVE is about doing good to humanity. And if you take that part, the part which people don't even want to hear, most companies don't want to hear, you take it out of ONPASSIVE, Mr. Ash said, bye, there'll be no ONPASSIVE, because he will be less motivated even to invent, to innovate, to grow the company, because the idea is about growing this company so it can bless as many people as possible. Now it is about, you know, it's now up to us if we want to leave that legacy which Mr. Ashbofara is talking about. And I always make this statement. I said, from the day we were born, you know, we will leave a footprint. It can be either good footprint or a bad footprint, but whether we like it or not, we'll leave footprint. What type of footprint do we want to leave? It's up to us now. But for myself, I want to leave a good footprint, because before joining ONPASSIVE, I've been doing this in a smaller way. Because one of the things that always aches my heart is to see someone who is hungry, or someone who cannot afford to pay school fees. You know, and these are the things I've seen, and ONPASSIVE now is coming to give me that opportunity, not only to give handout, but to transform people's life, to take someone from nothing and give that person hope again, where the person can start to feed his family. You can be an engine to your own family and start to bless others. So that's what I would say, and I just hope that there was a lot of information here, and if you enjoy it, please share it. We are here, and I just want to thank Milo for coming, and Andy, up to you. Take it.
Thanks. For me, it's kind of like, how many people do you think we can teach to fish? You know, I get the giving bit. That's phenomenal, and we could, you know, if you've got 1 million people paying $1 every week, that would be fantastic. But how many people could we actually teach to fish, to look after themselves, and to be able to then increase that to such an extent that within the community there are 100 people in the community being able to then bless the rest of it, as well as what we're doing on top. So final comments from you, Milo.
Hey, thanks, Andy and Colin, for being on the show. But I love what you just said. I've always that's been one of my big things. Is hey, I don't want to give them the fish. I want to give them the fishing pole, show them where the water is, show them how to bait the hook. Once I do that, you join me. You know, at that point, and that's what I think ONPASSIVE is about: is helping others help themselves, knowing that you know, you're going to win if you get in. I guarantee it. They're going to put you in front of a pond that's just loaded with fish, right? You're going to catch fish, or they're going to bring fish to you because of what's been built. It's amazing thing, and the legacy type thing, and time freedom. And I'm just so excited about everything that's happening. You know, we live in a dark world right now where, man, it doesn't seem like anything goes right. But right at the end of that tunnel is a big bright light ONPASSIVE, and they are going to be the correction for the corruption. That's a good thing, because a lot of things are being held back that should already be here with us, but it's being pushed down. It's been held back. So I'm excited. Oh my God, I'm so excited about ONPASSIVE, and knowing that you know, hey, we did get another 10-day extension today, but hey, what if in 10 days it starts? If it doesn't, hey, then it's another 10. Hey, we got a little bit of time now. Some of us don't have as long as Colin or you know, on this program, but it's just a great, and I am so thrilled to be with this company and to be with ONPASSIVE. I can't tell you how it is such a dream for me, and how I love to sit and dream. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Well, Milo, you are always welcome. Thank you for joining us. It's always intrigued me as to these, as Colin's mentioned this earlier on, you know, you've got multi billionaires who could, if they wanted to, they could do a hell of a lot for humanity, but it's all about greed. And this is where ONPASSIVE differs dramatically, and that for me is extremely exciting and very important. So thank you guys for joining us today. I'm really pleased you did. Please like, share and subscribe to all our channels. Thank you, Milo, again for joining us. I really appreciate you coming on, brother, and I'm sure we shall see you again. So thanks.